A sewing lesson from Sew New York. Today I'm going to teach you how to sew on the flat button. Hi, I'm Laura McCracken and welcome to Sew New York. Today we're going to learn how to sew buttons on. We're going to sew on a flat button, a 4-hole flat button as well as a 2-hole flat button. Alright, let's go sew some buttons. First I'm going to show you how to sew on a button, a flat button that has 2 holes. And here's the button with the 2 holes. You'll need to have your needle and thread. It's a single thread. It looks doubled right there, but at the very end we're going to have a knot. Okay, and you also want to have your garment that you're going to sew your button on. In the case I have this a sample piece of fabric, and I have a mark right there. It's a thread mark, if you can barely see it. It's supposed to be a light marking. So you want to have a mark on your fabric for your button. It can be a thread marking or a chalk marking, something that will come off and won't be permanently there after the button's sewn on. I'm going to make a knot at the end of my thread. I'm going to twist it and roll it, and now you have a nice little knot at the end of the thread. You can cut off the extra thread so that it is a smaller knot. Okay, and there's my my knot. I'm going to go into the fabric and come out where my mark is. And therefore the knot will be right on top, and but you won't see it because the button's going over it. So now I'm going to take the button. I'm going to go into one hole and let it lay flat. Try to center the middle of the button over the mark. And then you're going to go into the other hole, into the back side of the fabric. I'm using black thread so that you can see the button being sewn on. You can see what I'm doing here. But you would use a thread that matches your garment or matches your button. And I'm going to go in and out of the holes, around, back and forth, several times. I would say to do it about maybe 5 to 6 times. Okay, that's 3, 5, 1 more time. Okay, that's the sixth stitch in and out, and then we're just going to turn it over and we're going to make a permanent knot on this side. And the permanent knot is another video that I have. It shows you how to make a knot when you're done either putting a stitch line in or sewing a button on. And that's basically it. And then you just want to trim that off, but we don't want to trim it too short, so we're going to leave about a 1/2 inch of thread. And voila, that is a plain flat 2-hole button. Alright, let me show you how to do a 4-hole button. That's the next lesson. Okay, let's sew a flat button with 4 holes. We need the same supplies. You need your button with the 4 holes, a single thread, a knot on the end, and your fabric with a thread marking. I have a gray thread marking right there, or a chalk marking. And let's begin. Okay, I'm going to knot the thread again. And I'll cut off the end of it. There's our tiny little knot. Okay, I'm going to start on top and put the knot right on top. That way you won't have any knot behind you. I'm going to go into the thread marking, bring it through to the other side. And then you're going to place the 4-hole button somewhat over the center. You can put the needle in first to get it started. Again, you want to make sure that you use a thread that matches your fabric. I use black for demonstration so you can see. Alright, and I'll check to make sure that it's centered. Okay, that's approximate center right there. Now, you could create an X pattern if you wanted to by going from here to here, back and forth, and then from here to there, back and forth, or you can just do side to side. I'm going to do it from side to side. So I'm going to come out of this hole and go into this one. Again, 5 or 6 times. It's basically the same method that you did with the 2 holes. Three, 5, and 6. And now we're going to pass it over to the other hole. And you're going to go in and out the hole between both holes about 5 or 6 times. 5. And 6. Okay, that's basically what it will look like when it's finished. Let's turn it over and do a permanent knot. And I'm doing the permanent knot. And then trim it down to about a 1/2 inch. And perfect. And there is the flat button with 4 holes. Okay, see you at the next lesson.